Yesterday, Holly Hughes said there's tendency that Liberal women aren't believed. This was in relation to the Lydia Thorpe slurs in the chamber. Do you think there's an element of truth to that?
Look, I think, unfortunately, in a whole range of different ways, you can see double standards that sometimes seem to apply, and it should never be the case. The clear message, it's what I said to the Coalition staff meeting this week, but I also repeated it to the Senate last night. Everyone in Parliament, be they a member of Parliament, a staffer, parliamentary staff, those who work in building maintenance, the whole shebang, everyone should both show respect and expect respect. It's really not that complex a matter. That's the way we should all actually engage with one another, whether that is in terms of how you conduct yourself, what you say, the way you say it. It's a parliamentary democracy. There are strident differences of opinions that exist. We should have robust debates, but there should be limits to all of that as well, and people should certainly make sure in their conduct that respect is just at the core of it.
Indeed. Perhaps at the core of it as well is the representation of females on your side of politics. Now, New South Wales has quietly set a target for 50% female candidates. I think SA has done the same, but been even more bolshy about it. The important thing is getting women in safe seats, right?
It is important to make sure that preselections achieve that change right across the board, not just in marginal seats or Labor-held seats or the like. Now, you tend, of course, to see a greater frequency of turnover in marginal seats. So you can, if you're getting higher rates of preselection in terms of more women, you're going to see that occur where you've got retirements or turnovers happening more frequently. Yes, in South Australia, I think that at the state level we've seen an incredible sort of turnaround in pre-selections through this year, and Stephen Marshall's got some incredibly strong women coming into a number of safe seats. And here in SA, the Liberal Party, I think, pre-selected a Legislative Council ticket that for the 5 or 6 winnable spots has 4 or 5 women in those 5 or 6 winnable spots. So a complete turnaround in terms of balance there. Pleasingly, here in SA, we've also got a strong Indigenous woman who we hope to have as a new entrant to the Senate at the next election. Elsewhere around the country, I hope to see more women like Christy McSweeney, who's been pre-selected to replace Steve Irons over in the seat of Swan in WA.
OK, one final...
that we've held for many years.
Yes, indeed. But, I mean, when you look at the chaos of the last week, you had so many members on your own side, indeed, even a South Australian senator, willing to cross the floor and vote against the government.
Well, in that case, it was more the 2 senators who chose to simply abstain from all votes on all legislation. And now, Laura, I will always defend the right of Liberals and Nationals to cross the floor. It's one of the things that fundamentally makes us different to the Labor Party. If you cross the floor in the Labor Party, you get expelled. That in itself is a rather significant threat that hangs over the head of every Labor MP and senator. Libs and Nats are free to cross the floor. They ought to take it seriously. They ought to do it sparingly and where their convictions or their electorates really only demand it. But this sort of blanket idea that you're just not going to turn up for any votes, that's not really holding out on the individual principles of different bills. It's conflating everything that's on the legislative agenda with whatever issue you're demanding action be taken on.